Fantastic. How's everybody today? This is Wise Feline talking about price action for today, March the 27th, 2015, and we are taking a look at the E-mini S&P 500, the 5-minute chart. And as you can see here, of course, this is clearly after hours, or the market uh, closed a few hours ago. So I'm just going to So I'm going to just go ahead and do a very quick recap of about today's price action behavior and just to build up my repertoire of video content about this topic. Okay. So if you could just bear with me for just a few seconds, I should be able to take care of my sound systems here since I was having a little bit of a feedback, and I think I have now solved that. So now without further ado, let's just go right into it and do this. Now this is the 9:30 opening of the market, Eastern time. Hopefully you can see it here. Okay, and in the previous video that I have not uploaded yet, I went over the pre-market hours price action, which in my opinion is a very relevant piece of information, not necessarily for what is going to take place after the market opens, but simply because, as you can see here, if you understand this, there's plenty of activity or movement of price that can provide opportunities to take in some advantageous positions and making some profits and making some points. I would upload that video eventually in the near future, but today I'm going to talk about within or after the opening market. Now, this is, as mentioned earlier, this is the 9:30 time period. This is when the market opens here. Uh, I always believe that for understanding price action, there's a very important factor to take into account, which is context. And just to say something about context rather quickly, context is what you see to the left of the chart, and that's the raw data or information that you need to hash, evaluate, analyze, study, whatever you want to call it, in order to produce an estimated guess, a prediction of what's going to take place to the right of the chart, to the right of the market, the price action, which is essentially the future. Okay, so now let's go ahead and just go right into the nitty-gritty of today's action. And I'm going to expand this a little bit just so that we have a little bit of a clear view on the chart itself. So regardless of what happened in pre-market hours, we just, let's say, you know what, I woke up a little bit late today. I didn't have a chance to, be um, dedicated or punctual, and I just have only 15 minutes before the market opens, so I missed everything on the pre-market hours. So, well, what can you do? And I notice here that the opening we have a very strong breakout for the bulls, and with um, one very significant bull bar here, which was preceded by a significant bull bar that closed on its high on the previous 5 minutes to the opening. Okay, and as you can see here, there's a cliche play on the opening, and that cliche play for the opening usually is to fade it or go against it. So if you understand that, and which is simply finding a suitable position, a suitable time and place to go against this opening bull bar, uh, you can fade it by placing a short. And one of the methods that I would use to do such a play would be to place a sell stop. Okay, and what that means is as soon as I consider that the market has gone high enough, and since this is a cliche play, which is a very common play, I would expect at some point that the market's going to come down. It's going to go lower. So I will play this a sell stop somewhere below the close or the current price. Let's say if the price was reaching this level right here, I will place a stop order, sell stop order to sell, go short somewhere around here. And as you can see here in bar number two, that's exactly what happened. If you place a sell stop here, going with that school of thought of fading the opening, you would have been swept into a short position, and then you would have been able to just take a few points here, a few ticks on your favor, and um, you would have been able to capitalize if you do understand that, and if you do have proper trade management skills, which is what this is all about. So here, that's what these two bear bars here, bar number two and bar number three. This is a opening traders play, mark opening traders play that created these two bear bars here. Okay, now as you can see, judging for by the opening, there was a strong bullish action here, and with this for bar formations here, we can denote that the momentum or the inertia of this opening is with the bulls for several reasons. Not only because you have a very strong bull bar here that goes over 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 points, uh, and it was preceded by a very strong bull bar here. That's more than enough evidence for me to state that, okay, once this bar closes here, whatever happens after that, if I am a conservative trader, the the next logical play, if I didn't do the opening fade, the most logical play to do after that, which is a conservative play, would be to re-engage with the bull trend somewhere near the moving averages. And that's exactly what you have here in bar at the low of bar number four. The low of bar number four was created, or this lower tail, if you will. You see, this is the opening, this is the closing, the high and the low. As you can see, the fade opening was trying to be continued here. However, there's a strong support level here which will tell you that those who are the bulls, who are responsible for this bar here, bar number one, they say, you know what, we are going to continue the bull trend, and we're just going to wait for the prices to close near the moving average, and then we will re-engage with the bullish trend here. So here, the fade openers, or the fading traders of the opening, were met right here by the opening bull bar creators, if you will, and simply overtook the bears. And the bears knew that very well. I mean, you know, bears knew that this is just a opening deal. Once there's once there has been a 2 or 3 bars after the opening, then the real um, spirit of today's market action will take over, and that's what happened here. And today's market action spirit, if you want to call it that way, is bullish. Okay, so we have a bullish sentiment here, and that's what happened here. That the bulls retook the control of the market and went ahead and did, and re-engage on the bullish trend. Now on bar number 5 and bar number 6, there was a pause. That's what dojis are. Dojis are simply uh, candlestick bars with no bodies, and the opening equals the closing, and whatever happens below it or above it are just tails, but that really denotes uncertainty and lack of direction, or conviction on the traders of the market here. Then on bar number 7, there was a continuation of the bullish trend. There was a belief, yeah, we can take there's enough momentum, there's enough inertia by the bulls after this bar here and after these two here that will justify or serves enough evidence for traders to believe that higher prices after these bars high here are very possible, and that's what took place here. All they needed to do was to find some um, reasonable place to enter. You don't want it to enter too high over here because we are already starting to get onto the highs of the day here, and that's probably not, you know, even though there's a strong inertia with the bulls, you want to be able to buy at the lower prices that you can in order to re-engage in the bull trend. Okay, because that's just simply the most favorable approach to it. Now after this bar and bar number 8, it was met with a significant sell-up, but this bear bar here and probably this one here also, given that there were not new items, which I don't believe they were, these two bars here are essentially not really bears trying to take over the market and create a new bear trend just right out of the blue, right after this behavior right here. These are bull, um, these are bear bars made by the bulls. And what that means is this bear bar right here, number 8, and bear bar number 9 are the bulls who started today very strongly taking profits. Okay, sometimes when this action, this profit taking is very strong, it can reverse the market. Okay, so once this bar reached this low here, once the bulls were taking profits at this point right here on the low on bar number 9, there was a time for decision by the bulls, and the decision was to decide, well, we're going to retake again control of the market. We are going to make this a bull from the open day and buy again. And that's exactly what this tail indicates right here. This this lower tail is a strong indication that the bulls that went earlier on this bar right here still have the same conviction that the market is going to be higher, and that's why they re-engage on this section, right, on these price levels right here to buy again. And then there was, of course, this volatility all around, and at the opening of the markets, and that's normal. Uh, but these price levels for the bulls are very attractive, and that's why you see these lower tails here, as you can see here, bar number 10 as well as bar number 9. Bulls have conviction that there is a room for higher prices. There's a opportunity for buying at these price levels because they still believe they do control the market momentum, the market inertia, and they're just simply re-engaging again on the bull trend. And that's what happened with bar number 11 and bar number 12. Bulls have conviction and they believe this is a bullish day. Okay, now bar number 13, again, they could be, let's say, if you saw these two bars here, bar number 8 and bar number 10, and you said, you know what, those are very strong two bear bars, and I believe there's an opportunity for creating a bear trend from these two bear bars. However, um, that will be a very um, not necessarily an outlandish prediction, but if you are a very aggressive scalper and you didn't and you missed out on this right over here, and you wanna be a little bit aggressive and see if you can catch something, you have to justify your decisions, you have to justify your actions, and you have to justify clicking the buy or the sell buttons on your screen. So if I'm here and I missed all this action for some reason, after what I seen here at the opening and after these two bear bars here, I will be saying, you know what, I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to do a sell stop and I'm going to fade this buying action here because what happened here in these two, this is evidence that there's still energy for the bears, whether are bulls taking profits or just bears looking to see if they can retake control of the market and create a new bear trend. And that's why you have bar number 13 here. That's just one of the rationales or one of the narratives that one could use to just, take a fade. When you take in a fade, you're going against logic and going against what is evident. It's evident that the bulls have momentum here and they have momentum here. Okay. Um, and so if you are going to fade was evident that the bulls have the momentum of the market, then you have to justify your action. You have to find an excuse or a reason to go against it. And the excuse or the reason for this bar here are these two bars right here. Okay, the bear saw these two bars here, and once they saw this, this might be not necessarily a climax here, but definitely I'm going to gamble. Let's say gamble. If you missed all this action, you want to see if you, one of these rationales might give you an opportunity to participate in the trading at all. You could do that. So that's one of the narratives that I can come up with to justify bar number 13. And then again, here you have a very strong breakout bull bar 14. And again, this formation right here of this bull bar number 14, after bar number 13, denotes two things at this point. One, the bar number 13 was a bull made bear bar. Let's see if that makes sense. A bull made bear bar. Okay, these are bulls taking profits along with some opportunistic bears who might be, let's call them a little bit frustrated because they haven't participated in the market. Um, and the other factor is that this bull bar here, thus far, is pretty much the biggest bar of all of them right now. If you compare the size of this bar here to this, to this, to this, to any of these bars, this is the biggest bar overall. After this bar close here, it is undisputed that the bulls control the market. Okay, so if I witness this bar here, if I, for whatever reason, let's say, there was a news item or simply price action doing its thing here. After this bullish bar formation here, the the bulls have made the engagement of the day. Okay, so they're going to control the direction of the market for the rest of the day. And by the way, this is is a trading account. This is not real money. This is paper trading, but you know, and as some of you may be familiarized if you're using this platform. This is I like very much this platform. This is um, the TD Thinkorswim platform, and it is a very I like a lot of the presentation of the charts and everything. Just to give a little bit of a preamble of what I'm using here. Now, the other factor, the other detail that I want to bring to your attention is these two moving averages. The blue is the 20 period and the red is the 50 period. And as you can see, when you have the blue crossing over the 50 period moving average, that's a denotation of bullish breadth. And that's another point here. After this crossover here, the breadth of the market was bullish, and I use this the relationship between these two moving averages, the 20 period and the 50 period, just as a confirmation, because it's my opinion that these two indicators, which I use them for a long time and I find them insanely useful. They more than anything serve as confirmation of what the price action is presenting to me. They are lagging, in my opinion, indicators. They don't tell you. They they are um, instruments or indicators or tools that give you an idea what's happening on the market after the fact. They're lagging. Okay, price action. If you understand price action, you will be probably as close to real time, if you will, of what's happening. It would be probably the fastest method that I know of to give you information and loyal information, if you do it well, of what's happening with the market with the least amount of delay of lagging. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take a little break. Um, I don't know for how long this video has been running. I just after this bar right here, I deduce that the market will be on a bullish breath for the rest of the day. The bulls will have a significant upper hand on today's price action. Now, once this bar was formed here, by all means, find any reason you can to buy somewhere. Especially one of the rule of thumbs that I use is once I see a signal bar, which is exactly what bar number 14 is. It doesn't get any more signal bar than bar 14. That what you need to do here in today's price action is to buy, nothing else. Buy, okay, uh, and buy pullbacks. Okay, that's what today's game is going to be about. After this bar, the name of the game for today is buying pullbacks. And when you buy pullbacks, one of the typical characteristics of the price action is the pattern that you see here, lower tails. Okay, I think that's what they call. You have upper tails, like this one here. This one's here. There's an upper tail here, and this is a lower tail. That means every chance, every time that the prices tend to go lower, the bulls come right back and bite into them right there. And that's why you see these lower tails here. You see there's lower tails in pretty much in every bar here. But these are um, significant lower tails. Lower tail here, because that's the name of the game of today. And another thing here is, of course, these are not really bears trying to initiate or reverse the market and make it a bear trend. These are really, again, bull-made bear bars. These are bulls taking profits here. This is not really a reversal, and this is really not a reversal. Okay, here that was again a combination. Yeah, I guess you could use the narrative. Well, these are more than anything. This bar right here, bar 29, is bulls taking profits and opportunistic bears trying to go along with it and trying to make some points. That's it. And now after bar number 30, once you saw the pullbacks here, remember today's game was buying pullbacks, especially if you can get close to the moving average, especially if you can get closer to the 50 period moving averages. These are zones where you can buy here. Okay, as you can see here, this bar here close on the moving average, and a very logical play would be to buy, and that's probably one of the things that you saw here. Although, as you can see here, this tail was formed here for any given reason, just volatility or just price action taking place, not necessarily a news item. And you have to pay attention to news. You just not to trade news. I mean, all you can do is deal with the after effects, because it's impossible to trade news happening in a second and the markets react to it. You just simply won't have time, unless there are some algorithms out there and some super trading houses who have, I'm pretty sure they have some abilities or mechanisms to trade news. But as a home trader, which is what we are essentially doing here, you just you only have the ability to do trading the after effects of news items. Now, whatever this long tail was here, the premise remained the same. There was no change on the conviction. Bulls know, okay, this is a pullback buying day. Pullback buying day, and that's why you have these lower tails here. And the market tended to repeat it here, the premise here. This is a doji. This is a sign of uncertainty. This is an indication that there's no real conviction one way or the other. However, yeah, I guess you could say this is somewhat accumulation of selling pressure. But see, if you take a note here and see these lower tails, these are, why not use the word vicious? These are bulls really eager to buy anything that the bears throw at them. So there's a lot more energy to buy pullbacks than it is to sell breakouts, bullish breakouts, if you will. Okay, and um, and that's what you have here. Now, for whatever reason, today's market tend to be very flat, as you can see here. This is essentially this whole section right here is considered a trading range right here. We can go from here, from 11:45 all the way to yeah 3:30 Eastern. The market was in a sleepy mode or trading range, or without any real direction. And one of the key um, characteristics is when you see the two moving averages just going flat, one right next to the other. There's not really undulations. Right? That tells you this market is really asleep here. This is really not a lot of, let's use the word apathy to move the markets. So that's what happened on this whole section here. So, but the premise remained the same. The bullish energy was always greater than the bearish, and that's why you saw the day ending with prices higher and above the moving averages then below, because that was the premise carry out through the day from this bar right here, pretty much from this bar also here, I mean from the opening. So okay, again, um, this is just a very quick recap of today's price action. The market tended to be a little bit flat in the middle of it, but on a Friday, sometimes as expected. Okay, so I hope this price action video is found to you, is of positive use, and you find it useful and you find it interesting. And please um, feel free to comment and to subscribe. The intention of this channel is to progressively increase the you know the number of videos depicting price action, and my goal is to do a live trading channel on YouTube. I don't know if there are any channels out there who do live trading. Probably, of course, you have to take into consideration that there's a few technical hurdles that we have to overcome. One of them being a little bit of a few seconds in delay. But since this would be a live trading channel um, on YouTube, then we'll have to make allowances, if you know what I mean. Given that this is just going to be a free channel, but this is definitely something that is my passion here. I've been doing this for a number of years here, and now, and I just want to share it with the people, and I wanted to engage with the community who also finds this to be a passion of theirs. So, with that having said, again, my name is Alejandro, and I will be returning with more videos, and I hope again that you find this useful, and please make comments and subscribe. Thank you and have a great day.